Hello guys and welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to another walk around. This time I am joined by the brand new Ford Ka Plus Active, a city car that has been designed to look like an SUV. Yeah, I'm not really too sure of the point of it either. Anyway, that aside, let me show you around the car and give you my initial thoughts. Right, so yes, here we are, the Ka Plus Active, finished in an optional paintwork of Canyon Ridge. Now, I must admit, I thought it looked pretty good on the spec sheet, but in real life, I'm not too sure of the colour, but looks will always be subjective. Now, speaking of looks, quite a lot of you on social media, on my Car Obsession social media, haven't really been a massive fan of this car. I think it looks okay. Maybe I'm going a little bit mad, but yeah, I think it's a relatively good looking car. So the Active trim level, like I said a few months ago, means it's designed to look more like an SUV. So if I come around here, this car park is extremely muddy. You can see you've got plastic cladding, you've got silver roof rails, and you've also got I can't get my words out. You've also got a raised ride height. So compared to the standard Ford Ka Plus, this car sits 23mm higher than the standard car. As standard, you get 15-inch alloys, which look quite nice. They are in an anthracite design, a dark grey design, looking quite fetching if you ask me. And of course, you also get Active badging to remind you that this is not your standard Ford Ka Plus. Right. Let me step inside the car, like so. Also part of the Active specification, you also get these very durable and rugged floor mats. So if you've got muddy walking boots on, you won't have to worry about ruining the carpet, which is very handy indeed. And as you can see, I have collected a fair amount of dirt already. So yes, let's step in, like so, because it is very cold in the UK today. Close the door like so. So as well as the outside styling, you also get a more exclusive styling inside. So as you can see here, let me get it in focus. You've got what Ford calls sienna hazel brown stitching, which is quite nice, brown bronze, whichever you want to call it. And of course, you've also got an exclusive design to the seats as well. There we are, quite a nice design. You've got the brochure for the car, there we are, and I've also got a spec sheet there. I will talk you through the specs in due course. So the inside is quite a basic affair, but as you would expect, this is a cheap car. So it starts from £13,445, but because this car has got a few optional extras, the car I'm sat in right now is £14,545. So let me talk you through what comes as standard. Now, the previous Ford Ka Plus didn't really have a lot in the way of goodies or features. However, the new model has got a 6.5-inch touchscreen as standard on the Active and the Z-Tech model. You also get DAB radio, Bluetooth connectivity, and smartphone connectivity. You don't get navigation, which, to be honest, isn't really too much of an issue because you can use your smartphone, you can use Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, and you can use Google Maps or Waze, and both of those apps work very well. And to be honest, they will probably work better than the inbuilt system anyway. But yes, as standard, you get Ford's Sync 3 system. There we are, just turned on the radio, got Bluetooth connectivity as I mentioned earlier, mobile apps, settings, yep, and the system works pretty well. It's not the most attractive system to look at, but the functionality, yeah, it is pretty good. Also, as standard, I get air conditioning, which you can see here. Now, you can get climate control as an optional extra, but as you can see, it hasn't been specified for this car, so I've got air conditioning. And what else have I got in regards to kit? Oh yes, I've got Cruise control, which you can see just there. Cruise control also comes as standard. One thing that doesn't come as standard, which surprises me, are automatic lights. So, of course, I've got headlights. Every car has to have headlights. But I haven't got automatic headlights, which I find a bit strange for a car that is able to offer cruise control and a 6.5-inch touchscreen and air conditioning, but no automatic headlights. I don't know about you guys, but I think that is a little bit odd and a little bit tight from Ford. You can get automatic headlights, but they are part of an optional extra package. Right, so let's talk about getting a driving position, which is relatively easy. The steering wheel only adjusts for rake and not to reach. I can't find the lever. Bear with me, guys. A bit difficult to do it one-handed. Where's the blooming lever? Oh, it's right there. So yes, the steering wheel only goes up and down. It doesn't come towards me or go away from me, but that is really to be expected for a car of this price. It is a cheap budget car. I've got front electric windows, but I have to concede the rear electric windows are part of an optional package. So this car, as well as having the Canyon Ridge paintwork, has also got the City Pack. The City Pack gives me the rear electric windows. I also get power heated foldable door mirrors, and I also get rear parking sensors. So if I knock it into reverse, the car has to be turned on, fine. Or if I, there we are. As you can see, I do have rear parking sensors, but this car is pretty easy to park anyway, so you should have very little issues. Let's talk about space and practicality. The door bins are of a good size, so you can fit a bottle in them as well as a few other items with no problems whatsoever. Got a little slot here. Obviously, you can use this as a door handle, but you can also put maybe a packet of chewing gum in there if you were really desperate for a bit of space. You've got a shelf up here, which is really handy for putting your smartphone on. Obviously, if you've got quite a large smartphone or a phablet, it might not fit on there. I've got a Galaxy S9, which is quite a large smartphone, but it fits on there just fine. Got 2 USB ports, quite handy. Got a little slot down here where you can put smaller items, maybe a chocolate bar or some mints, that kind of thing. Got 2 cup holders here, and you've got 2 more cup holders there. And the glove box is of a relatively decent size. Pardon me, it isn't massive. If you're wondering what that is, that's a key ring on my wife's house keys. I've got some high-vis jackets in there, and also the manual for the car. So yeah, relatively good amount of space. Now, as you would expect, there are plenty of hard, scratchy plastics, but guys, this is a cheap car, so it is a little bit difficult to criticise a car for having so many cheap plastics when it is a cheap car. Now, let's step into the back. Turn off the ignition. It's moaning because I've left the side lights on. There we are. So the Car Plus is only available as a 5-door, so if you're looking for a 3-door, you will be disappointed. Getting access to the rear is very easy though, because of course you've got the 5-door configuration. Now, as always, the driver's seat has been set for me. I am 6'2", so I am of course a taller guy, but even so, the space back here isn't actually too bad. Now, in the rear you've also got rubber floor mats, which again is good for durability. There, close the door like so. You don't get rear door bins sadly, but you do have a little bit of storage there, of course. Now, in regards to legroom, I haven't got acres, but for a car of this size, I do think it is pretty impressive. So, as I said, the driver's seat has been set for me. I'm 6'2", but even so, I've got a decent amount of leg room, and knee room isn't too bad either. Let me just give you a shot from the side, like so. So as you can see, not too bad at all. Now, Ford states that the Car Plus should be able to, well, you should be able to get a 2 metre tall person, which is about 6'5", you should be able to get a 6'5" person behind a 6'5" driver, and they should be able to fit. And I think Ford is a little bit optimistic on that one, because although I'm 6'2" and I've got a decent amount of leg room, not acres, but a decent amount, headroom, I think for someone that is 6'5" would be tight. I'm 6'2", as I've mentioned. I know I keep saying I'm 6'2". I don't know why I keep saying it, because I'm sure you haven't got memory loss. But yes, for me, I've got enough space, but would I want to be sat here if I was 6'5"? No, probably not. However, for a smaller car, I think it is impressive. Ford does state that this car is big enough for 5 adults. Could you fit 3 adults back here? Honestly, I don't think you could. Well, I don't think you'd want to be honest. Let's quickly pop myself into the middle seat, like so, which is quite slim, as you would expect. There we are. So, would I want to sit here for a medium to a long journey? No, I wouldn't. So, yeah, I think really your best bet is to have 2 adults back here and not 3. But if you were to have 3 children, I think it should be absolutely fine. I don't think there'll be too many complaints. Right, let's step out and show you the boot. Right, bear with me. My legs are kind of tangled. Oh, there we are. So, following customer feedback, Ford has finally decided to put a boot release button on the tailgate. The previous Ford Ka Plus, you had 2 options. You could either press a button on the dashboard, or you had a button on the key fob, which wasn't exactly a massive hardship, but it was quite an inconvenience. However, the new car, there we are, you can press the button and it opens up like so. In regards to capacity, this has 270 litres, which is pretty good, and it's not too far behind a Ford Fiesta. So yes, it is very competitive. It's bigger than the likes of the Kia Picanto X-Line and the Vauxhall Viva Rox, but I'm not too sure whether it's bigger than the Suzuki Ignis. I think it is a little bit bigger than the Suzuki Ignis, but I would need to double check. Now, once again, you do have a rubber mat in here. Again, handy if you want to put muddy walking boots in here, or you could perhaps put a dog in here. Obviously, the boot isn't massive, so it can't be a Great Dane or anything, because yeah, I don't think that would be very I don't think that would be very kind to put a big dog back in here. But yeah, my point is, if you want to put muddier items in here, you can do so without having to worry about ruining your carpets. Now, if you want more space, you can fold down the 60/40 rear seats to give you 1,029 litres, which is pretty good. Now, of course, for a car like this, the rear seats don't fold flat, and you will have a bit of a step, but that's to be expected in this part of the market. So the boot is pretty good. There we are. Let me finish by talking you through the engine. This is where I need to remember where the bonnet release is. Sit this side. Yes. There we go. And I shall reveal the monster that lies beneath. Are you ready, guys? I don't think you are. Right, here we go. Look at that beauty. I bet that gets your pulses racing. Right, so what you are looking at is a 1.2 litre 3-cylinder naturally aspirated petrol engine, which kicks out 85 horsepower with 115 newton meters of torque. I told you, it is an absolute beast. This engine is new for the Ka Plus, and it replaces the old 1.2 litre Duratec engine. This engine has got, I have to remember what it's called. It's twin variable camshaft timing. So to put it into simpler terms, it basically means that the car is a little bit more fuel efficient, it is a little bit more refined, and it's got 10% more low-end torque compared to the previous 1.2 engine. So it does offer slightly stronger performance. However, it will take quite some time to hit 62 miles per hour because that takes almost 14 seconds. Yes, it does take quite some time, and the top speed isn't too far over 100 miles an hour. So yeah, but this car is not designed to be fast. You can also have this engine with 70 horsepower, if just in case this is simply too much power for you to handle. Or you can have a 1.5 litre turbocharged diesel if you want to have better fuel economy. That offers 95 horsepower and of course better economy. Now, speaking of economy, this engine on a combined run offers 49.6 mpg. Those figures are using the old NEDC method. If we are talking about WLTP, I think this offers around 44 mpg. In regards to CO2 emissions, this car emits, oh god, I've lost it off the top of my head. I believe it's 126 grams per kilometre. Actually, that sounds a little bit too high, but I will quickly double check the spec sheet to double check for you. So yeah, that is pretty much everything I have to say about this car for the time being. There will of course be a full review coming. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a massive thumbs up. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click that bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. And if you aren't subscribed, guys, what are you waiting for? Be sure to subscribe for more car obsession.